So today on NewbieVeT, got a special guest. We got my girl, Ice.
What's up, y'all?
So, you're originally from Staten Island, New York, right?
Yes.
Born and raised?
Yes.
And your father was a part of UMC.
Yes.
So, give me like a brief, just, like a rundown of growing up in Staten and, with your father doing music and you.
Well, my dad, like I was telling you a little bit earlier, they were the first group to come out of Staten Island, first rap group. So
how many was it?
It's two of them.
Okay.
So it's Haas, and then there's Cool Kim, which is my dad. Growing up, listening to his music, I've always had a love for music because of that. And just his appreciation for music made me appreciate music more. And he's always encouraged my creativity. So it was never like, oh, I think I can do this, but I'm not sure. I was always very sure of my talent. Right. He's my favorite artist, obviously. And I mean, I think we had a regular life. Like it wasn't grand, right? But it wasn't bad, right? Yeah, I mean, his UMC music days were pretty much over before I was like old enough to really
understand what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. It was that chapter of his life had ended. Yeah. Now his NY Oil music days, I was very here for that. And
what year? Like what was the year? Tell me, what year was that around?
NY Oil had to be around 2010. Okay. Maybe even before that. Yeah. That's when he became a conscious artist, and I was very here for that. So I was on his album Hood Treason, and I had just started making my own, like actually recording my own music. At that time. My mom bought me a little situation for Christmas.
Was it a boombox?
No. She brought me a laptop.
Laptop. Okay.
An audio interface, a mic.
Oh, so you had it set up?
Yeah, okay. I had a little desk in my room. Okay. I was recording my own songs. Okay. Unfortunately, my brother's room was right next to my room. Mm. So anytime I would try to get my singing going, they would come in there. Shanae, shut up. You always singing. It's sitting late. I was like, whatever. I love this. This is what I want to do. Like, so it was pretty good.
Okay. Cool. So, you said you got on a couple of your father's songs. Yeah. What was you remember the first song he put you on, and what was your reaction when he came to you about getting on the song?
The first song my dad ever put me on was called Believer.
How old were you?
Maybe 3 or 4, I think.
So and young.
Yeah. And I was singing, I'm a believer, conceiver, achiever, succeeder. So he just let me go for mine on the song. Right. And anytime I hear it make me emotional because I just I can't express how grateful I am to have a parent that's like, yo, I believe in you. If this is what you want to do, I'm gonna let you go for yours. Right. And just fully let me. The only thing that was ever a requirement for me to do music was for me to keep it real and represent to the fullest of my abilities. Right. Like, that's what we always say to each other. Did you keep it real? Yes. Right. Did you represent? Yes, I did. Right. Okay, then there's nothing, I don't gotta say nothing else after that.
Right. Sound like a good man, a real good man. Yeah. Okay. All right, so coming from Staten Island, what was the transition from y'all coming from New York down to Augusta, Georgia? And why did you pick Augusta, Georgia?
Well, that happened a little bit later on in life. Yeah. Okay. My uncle Baruti came down here. He owns Humanitary. He came down here first. I came down to visit him. And then my parents came down to visit him. And they really liked it. It was quiet. Everybody says New York's a city that never sleeps. And that is factual.
So all days like that every day?
It's always, something is always happening. Someone's always outside. There's always noise. So at some point, it gets tiring. It's like, okay, I just want to go to sleep and I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want nobody outside my door. I don't want nobody outside my window yelling, do none of that. I just want to go to sleep. Yeah. And that's what it was down here. So they was like, okay. Plus, it seemed more realistic to own land and own property down here. So they was able to come down here and buy their home. Yeah. Once I got
You think it's quicker to buy land and property down here in the South?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Because what you would pay in mortgage down here for a very, very nice house, you're paying in rent up north for a crappy apartment. Yeah. Easily.
Yeah. I hear a lot.
So, after I got out of Navy, it was a no-brainer because my family's really close. We're tight-knit. So there was no thought in my mind like, oh, I'm going to go live. No, why? My parents is here. My little brother's here. At the time, my older brother was here. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, I'm coming here. Okay. This is where I want to be.
Okay. All right. You mentioned the Navy. So what was your decision on getting into the Navy?
My mom was in the Navy. She was an officer in the Navy. And just like I look up to my dad, I look up to my mom. So I always wanted to do stuff that my mom did because she's a great woman. Yeah. So when you see somebody's greatness, you as a child automatically aspire to achieve that same greatness. So yeah, I knew I wanted to join the Navy. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do in the Navy, but I was sure I wanted to join the Navy. At first I thought I wanted to be a JAG, which is a lawyer. And as I got older, I found my love for puzzles and things, computers, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. So when I took my ASVAB, they was like, oh, you're really suited to be CT. A cryptologist. I was like, okay, cool.
And what is that?
A cryptologist is a hacker.
A hacker.
Pretty much is a hacker.
Okay.
So I became a cryptologist and I joined. I did ROTC in high school, so I went in at E3 and came out my first year and I made E4. So I became a petty officer, and I was doing my thing. I was very, very excited, and if I could have stayed in, I would have. If I didn't have to leave, I would have never left.
Oh man, okay. So you never had to get on the water?
No, I never had to get on the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thankful for that.
Why is that?
Because they say ship life for females, especially black females, is very hard, and not
Why
just.
Why is that?
Well, males, they don't have any control over themselves. Apparently, they can't control themselves. Right. And I heard being on a boat is like being in jail.
Right.
So the only females you see every day is the females that you're around. Even though there's a couple hundred, maybe even a couple thousand, depending on what boat you're on, people on the ship.
Right.
You're still seeing those people every day, which I feel is the same thing. If you're in a small town, you're gonna see them same people every day, but they can't. In their head, they can't get it together. And I think there's just like there's a little bit of animosity between males and females in the service, and they don't really do what they supposed to. I mean, they don't do what they supposed to do on the shore, so they definitely not gonna do what they supposed to do on a boat. And I'm not subjecting myself to that because I'm prone to violence and I'm not having it. Right. So I was happy I wasn't put in that situation.
Right, that's good. That's real good. That's real good. Okay. So you just released a single.
Yes, I did.
It's dope too, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what made you come up? What was your mind, your thought process when you was coming up with that record?
If I'm being honest, I was being very petty.
Oh yeah?
I was being very petty. My ex does music. He's a singer. Very, very good singer. One thing, I never knock anybody for their musical talent because I love music. So regardless of how I feel about you as a person, if you're talented musically, I'm always going to say that. Right. But very talented singer. But Buddy just won't stop talking about me. And I'm like, yo, fam, like, yo, could you leave me alone? Yeah. Can you leave me? Can you leave me be? So he been putting out his little shots, and I've been making, I make my little diss records back, but I was like, I'm not putting that out though. Like, I put snippets on my page, but it was never a desire for me to put music out.
Right.
So I was like, I'm not putting it out, but I might post the snippets or whatever so you can see what's really going on. So you could, you know what I'm saying? You know I got something for you, but I'm trying to be humble. Like, I'm trying to be nice right now. So that's what it was when I was making that song. And the beat just, you know, I just let the mood take me. That's what I do anytime I write a song. I let the mood take me. And any way the wind blow is cool with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do that. Okay.
So is you have a project that you also working on?
Yeah, I have a project. It's called Can I Break Your Heart?
Can I Break Your Heart? So what's the whole story behind that?
The Can I Break Your Heart project is definitely a summarized version of what I went through in that relationship. So you're going to hear songs about me enduring verbal abuse, losing kids, me dealing with my depression, my PTSD, my anxiety, and being in a relationship, how that clashes.
That's a good one, because a lot of women, well, a lot of people suffer from depression, and it does affect a lot of relationships.
But they won't admit it. They won't. A lot of people don't want to have to admit that their mental health is draining to their partner. But I think it's hard to be able to admit that in that way and not take it to a point where it's like, oh, I'm a burden. I'm a burden. I should be with nobody because it's too hard to be with me, which I do. I go through my phases of that. Like, when I get really bad, I'm like, it's really bad. And when I'm okay, I'm alright.
So it's like, and it's kind of tough because, like, when you're going through depression and anxiety at the same time, so it's like
and those things are at war with each other. So it's like being at war with yourself.
So how do you try to, handle your depression? Do you take medicine, or you take it naturally way by just meditating, yoga, do different things, try to keep relaxed?
I personally have to be on medication because I have hallucinations, both auditory and visually. So, and I also...
You mean hallucination, like you see things?
Yes. I hear things.
Like, give me an example of something.
So, like, my trauma is based off of how many kids I lost. So sometimes I will see kids running throughout my house. Sometimes I hear them. And sometimes I hear a baby crying, and it'll wake me up in the middle of the night, and I'll start crying because I can't find it. So and that's not even a quarter of the mental things that I go through. But just that alone is enough to make you just be like, oh, okay. Like, it's a lot.
That's a real tough thing, losing kids too, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
And so I figured out a part of the reason why. So I'm going forward to fix it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
When that stuff happen like that, it's hard. Well, I know women take it the most because it's a part of themselves. But why do you feel like some men doesn't take it as serious as women?
I've never experienced that. I've never experienced a man not take it as serious as me. So just like I have my mental issues, the person that I lost my son Kim with he can't even remember a block, that whole block of time. Like he blacks it out. We both are veterans, so we both go to the VA, and he deals with his mental issues and I deal with my mental issues, but he blocks it out. And if you talk to him and you're like, yo, why did you feel like that? He'll be like, yo, I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember that. I don't want to. And I know, and like at first I wanted to feel like he didn't care, but I was like, I can completely understand why you wouldn't want to remember that. Why you wouldn't want to have to deal with that, because that's a lot of pain.
And people handle their pain different.
Yeah.
Some people, like, even at some people, like, don't even cry at funerals. You know what I'm saying?
I don't cry at funerals.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it could be somebody real close to you.
And you just, that's not what you do.
Yeah. So people handle it different. Yeah. So seems like this album's gonna be a pretty touchy album. pretty good.
Yeah, but pretty much all my music is gonna be like that because I don't speak about stuff that I didn't experience. I don't just say things. There's nothing that just like I don't have a cat in a hat type of. That's not my thing. Right. So I don't just pick words that rhyme just because they rhyme. I'm not a sexual artist, so I don't do the sexy thing. I don't think I'm not a sexy person. Like, do I think that I'm beautiful? Yes. Am I sexy? No, and I don't want to be. I just want to be me. As a MC, it's my job to tell you a story. It's my job to make you feel whatever I'm feeling at the time when I'm in the studio writing what I'm writing. That's it. I'm just here to do my job.
Well, that's real dope. Okay, so you actually getting ready to do video gaming?
Yes.
Video gaming.
So I'm only doing it as a hobby. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to go back to work.
That's still a big job though.
Well, yeah, but it's because it's a hobby. It's like, okay, anything can be turned into a job. When you lose the passion for it. But if you don't lose the passion for it, then it's always going to be just a hobby.
That's true.
So right now I'm doing it just off of my own knowledge. And I'm making a video game. It's called Revolutionaries Past. It's about the split between, of course it's about my dad. It's about the split between his two MC personas. So the Cool Kim side is very fun and acrobatic. I'm over the place. I'm in it, I'm fun. And then the NY All side is very conscious. And it's just the video game is telling the story of his life after stopping being NY Oil and how being NY Oil affected him, and then how it came back to bite him when he decided to start doing music again. So it's just a fun little project for me to work on. Like I said, I idolize my dad, so of course all of my first things that I'm doing is going to be about him.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's all love there. That's all love. Okay. So, you into video games, so what type of video games? RPG? Fighting?
No, it's definitely RPGs, MMOs.
What are MMOs?
Massive multiplayer online gaming, so like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy Online, things like that. Like those two specifically are my favorite games.
That's it, and a lot of people don't know that. Like, that's a different world on its own. Like,
it really is.
You be amazed how many people be online on them things.
Yeah. It's you get to be a different person. I personally think for some people you get to be your true self, because some people on there, they make their character, and that character is actually who they are and who they are not able to express themselves as in real life.
Yeah, because I got a friend in C-Dub. He be on the war thing, stuff like that. And him and his daddy, they be fighting each other, building up soldiers and recruiting people and having colonies, and they serious about that.
Yeah.
Shit. Be buying upgrades and shit like this.
Yeah. So me and my family do it too. We're all on the games together.
Yeah,
we're always no matter what game it is. If it's the 13th Order, it's our family. If it's the 5th Order, it might be our family. But only if it's Frost. If it's the 5th Order of the Frost, I own that guild. If it's the 13th Order, that's my little brother's guild.
Okay. And people that don't know video game lingo, they be lost like hell.
Oh, so like a guild is just a group of players that have come together under one banner to do missions and dungeons and stuff like that. So
like I said, it's a whole different world. It's a whole different lingo with it. Like, you can tell. Can you tell if somebody actually a gamer? Like, say, like, for instance, if a guy want to talk to you and he see that you into video games, so he might try to talk to you as like he into video games. Can you tell if he's lying or not?
Well, see, that depends on what your definition of a gamer is. Mm-hmm. And I was asking this on my Twitch, because I stream my video games when I do games like Fortnite and stuff like that. It depends on what your video game preference is. Now, if he'd be like, "Oh yeah, no, you know, I do 2K," I'd be like, "Alright." So I mean,
that's another thing. Like a lot of people, like you said, there's different gamers. I just found that out. Like my son told me that because he was like, cause some people they don't play all the other games. They just play 2K and football.
Yeah, so I think my category for them, those are sports gamers. Now, am I going to be able to sit down and talk to you about those games? No, I don't play those. That's not my thing. That's not my steez. I don't do that.
Yeah.
But if somebody be like, "Oh, you know, I play Fortnite," I can get into a conversation with you about Fortnite because I play Fortnite. If you want to talk about Skyrim, if you want to talk about Witcher, if you want to talk about Mass Effect, if you want to talk about any of those games, I can sit down and I can talk to you about those because I play those. Yeah. But you want to talk to me about 2K, like I know what the game is about and I've seen people play it, but I'm not going to get into you know.
So what was the first gaming system that you owned?
And just that was mine. Sega,
that was your
Sega Genesis.
First own game. So
was mine.
Okay.
But we had the black and the first Game Boy. Nintendo 64.
That was my favorite one.
Was this one before that has the
Super Nintendo?
We had that.
It was Nintendo, Sega Saturn, Sega CD.
I don't know what it was. I have to look it up to tell you.
Dreamcast?
No, we never had a Dreamcast.
Dreamcast, okay.
But we had a GameCube.
GameCube, yeah.
We had a GameCube.
Yeah.
Of course we had Xbox. And at first I was heavy Xbox, so I had the 360.
I was a big Xbox fan. I still am an Xbox fan. Yeah.
I had a 360. But then I got my PS4.
You done switched over?
I have a PS4.
Why you switched over?
Well, somebody stole my Xbox.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason, because I was all three. So I had a PS4, I had the Xbox, and I had my PC. I have a gaming PC. Yeah. So if you ever come over my house, you'll see my setup. I have my gaming PC, and then I have my music PC. Yeah. Well, I have my MacBook Pro.
Yeah. I became an Xbox. The reason I'm an Xbox fan, I don't know why I just can't convert to PlayStation. I'll play PlayStation though, but all my friends got PlayStation. I'm thinking I'm the only one Xbox.
Well, now everything got that cross. You can play with other people.
Yeah. So like, I became an Xbox when Xbox first came out, and you can store your music on there.
Yes.
And I used to play my music on there while I'm playing the game and stuff.
Right.
It was dope.
You really good vibe out.
Good vibe on it. I had good vibes on the Xbox. So it's like, it's more of a sentimental vibe with me with Xbox. But yeah. So what game system do you prefer like the most? Gaming or the PC?
If I'm streaming, it's my PC, because it's easier to stream from your PC. And even though I can and do stream from my PS4, my camera quality and then just like my ability to interact with the people watching me, it makes it a little bit harder.
Right. Okay. Yeah, learn a lot. Learn a lot. Okay. All right. So before we slide off on NewbieVeT, is any love you want to shout out?
Oh no, you got to translate that for me.
Is there anybody that you want to shout out?
Oh, I'm definitely gonna shout out my dad. I'm definitely gonna shout out my dad. Shout out to Cool Kim. Shout out to all. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to Kat and Bilal. That's my partner for my group Wolf X Ice. Shout out to everybody that I met from Augusta, because I didn't really know anybody here, but since I got my little cameo on Love and Hip Hop Augusta, I met a lot of cool people. So shout out to them. Shout out to Love and Hip Hop Augusta Parody. And yeah, I mean.
So how can they find you on social media and your music?
Everything is the same. It's Ice, capital ICE _ Wolf X Ice. That's on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. If you trying to find me for gaming, it's Savages _ Ice. That's my gamer tag. So hit me up, add me, and then we could do whatever you're trying to do. Like, what's up with all of that.